Good morning, everybody. Jayy here with another War of the Visions video, and today we are going to talk about how to raid, and I'm going to show you comps that are good for raiding Diabolos specifically, because that's the raid we're in right now, but these strategies will apply to raids going forward, so this can be a good guide for how to maximize your time and AP invested into raids to get the most out of it, because raid rewards are some of the best items in this game. So let's get to that right now. Okay, before we get started, gotta do a little housekeeping thing. If you need to buy yourself some Visior and you want to use Amazon coins, I'd really appreciate it. Use my Amazon coin affiliate link down in the description. Really helps the channel out a ton. Thank you to everybody who has been doing that. Now, let's talk about what to do when you're at like level 1 on your raid, right? We're talking the raid is super easy. You haven't cleared it yet, but you've stored up your 10 raids and you're like, all right, here we go. What do you want to do? Well, you're going to come in here, you're going to go to your raid. Now, this raid is level 100 because I've got my raid there. But let me show you the team that I was using to beat the level 1 through about level 40 raid. Went to my maker here, went over here, and I was like, all right, let's make a party. It wasn't Rain, it was Titus. I just threw Titus in there. Boom, just like this. I gave Titus his sword, I gave Titus his vision cards and an Esper that's good for him, and I ran exactly this. I would go to challenge, I would go to, it's like, hey, you filled up, and I would go to this 4-player one right here. Now, I'm not going to click this because I don't want to actually like queue this up, but I would click it, or I'm not going to start it, excuse me, and I would just have my Titus 1v1 it, because let's look at rewards really quick. You actually get more rewards for doing that version of the raid than you do for any other. Let's go to victory rewards here. Now, that was the quartet. That's what that one's called, the quartet. I just had my Titus soloing in quartet mode because you can see you get, like, for example, level 1, you get 20 coins for quartet, whereas if I'd have made a 4-person team, I'd have only gotten 10 coins. So you're getting more value out of having Titus do it himself in quartet. Now, pair, which is going to become relevant here in a minute, gives halfway in between those two, you can see. So let's look at it again real quick. Solo, 10 coins per run. Pair, 15 coins per run. And then quartet, 20. It's probably backwards. 20. Which one of those ways is, you get it, 20. Now, that's going to increase. Those rewards go up the whole way. What does not change is these other rewards, right? Like the faces, the gill. You still have the chance at getting the rare drops, all of that. But you're getting more coins, and the coins are what you're going to be able to use to exchange for recipes, to exchange for materials, to build out of those recipes. So coins are the big target here. Now, once your raid gets to the point where your one unit can't solo it anymore, right? Maybe you don't have 120 Titus or 120 Yuno, and maybe at about level 25 or 30, you're like, man, my one unit can't do it anymore. No problem. That's when you take your one good unit and you put them into a team. Like maybe you were using Yuno, and now you switch to Yuno and El Sorel. Hey, Yuno El Sorel, pretty dang effective combo, and could solo this boss, by the way, all the way up to 100. In fact, let's hit this challenge button and let's see how good Yuno and El Sorel do against a level 100 Diabolos. Spoiler alert, it's pretty good. Now, while this is going on, I'm going to talk to you guys about this. This raid we got at a really awkward time as far as like release scheduling goes. When this raid was released in JP, there was no 120 units in the game. They couldn't EX anything. There was no Final Fantasy characters, which have been crucial to global success in this raid and have really changed the game. They're not always going to be like this. But one nice thing about this Diabolos raid is you can actually, if you have the right units, you can actually beat the level 100 boss with just 2 units of your own without getting help from anybody. Now, not everybody's going to be able to do this. You're going to need one of the Final Fantasy units, from what I've seen so far, and you're going to need like a good friend for them. For example, Yuno, level 120 Final Fantasy unit, like a core element of a lot of people's account, and El Sorel, really, really good friend to Yuno, has slashing attacks, light attacks, what Diabolos is weak against. And look at them, they're just out here just kicking this thing's butt. Now, Elsie is a particularly good friend for Yuno. Let's talk about this comp while we can. Elsie can kind of heal herself up, right? Her 3-hit attack, which helps build those light chains, actually heals her, which helps keep Yuno in DPS mode. I actually like to keep Yuno with some heals, just in case somebody might die or something like that. But check it out. We seem to be handling this fight pretty well. Both units are full HP. Yuno is in Green Mage. She's using Imperil, which will lower the elemental resist of the boss, who's already weak to light, by the way. Elsie has Bells to keep her in AP. There's 4 turns left. There's 3 turns left. We're going to kill it right here. And with 2 turns left, this 2-person team was able to defeat Diabolos at level 100 by themselves. Now let's check out the kind of rewards we got for doing this and compare them to what we would have gotten had we used a 4-person team to do it, which is more common. Okay, 580 for finishing the fight. Cool. But here we go. Let's collect our prize here. Loading, and claim rewards. We are going to get 953 tokens for beating this thing. 953. That is phenomenal. This is the easiest raid Global's ever had, and it's because you can do things like this. Now, you do not need the specific combo of Yuno and Elsorel to do this raid. Let me show you some of the other comps that I found that work for this. All right, right here, I tried Titus, and Christmas Ramada. It did not work for me. Christmas Ramada was just dying over and over again. I couldn't keep her alive. But there is a good Titus comp out there that really does work, and it is this one right here. So disregard, here, let me just remove them. Let's disregard Ramza and Cecil. This combo here can do it. Now, in my opinion, it's not as good as Yuno plus Elsie, but Titus and Ildira can handle this boss pretty well. Let's show off how that comp works real quick. Okay, had to take care of that Princess Flan that was hanging out on the screen. Now let's jump into the Diabolos fight. And I want to give you some pointers. If you're trying to build a duo that can do this for themselves, I think this Titus Ildira squad shows off a lot of what is necessary for that to work. What do I mean? Well, you have to worry about 2 things when trying to do like a duo auto team. One, are your units going to die? Because if your units die, you're gonna lose. That just sort of makes sense. And a good way to keep your units from dying is to bring somebody who has AoE and can kill the ads while also hitting Diabolos. Now, it's important that they also hit him because 1, he's bringing 100 hate to this fight, so they're gonna target him whenever they can. But 2, you have to worry about running out of turns. What this squad is good at is Ildira is able to catch the ads in her AoE. You've seen that right there. She cleans that up. And Titus with Bells just unloads onto this guy and slows him down with CT down, all that good stuff. You want Ildira to bring Water Aga Blade for extra like chaining water attacks, and this is the crucial part of the fight right here, where her and Titus get all these turns back to back, they're hitting for maximum damage, and this really helps burn the boss down. Okay, here's another comp that I want to show off that can do this job, and that is Yuno again, because you know, Yuno. And it's Sakura this time. So maybe you don't have Elsora at level 99, but you do have Yuno and her good sister friend here, Sakura. And this comp can definitely do it. In fact, in my opinion, this is the safest and easiest comp to just grind this raid out with. A couple things to keep in mind though. 1, even though these units are mages, they are very capable of running out of AP. Diabolos has a bunch of HP, and even with bells, even with all of it, they can run out of AP. So I've turned their limit breaks off because their limit breaks are very, very expensive. And that has been the difference about unlocking this comp for me. Now, look how Yuno walks up there, does Imperil on 3 people, which again, lowers Diabolos' light resist and kills some of those ads. This comp doesn't struggle to stay alive because, well, a lot of the spells are using stun. Diabolos is vulnerable to stun, so you're going to land some stuns in this, and you just have a lot of damage. So if somebody does get low, Yuno can just drop a heal on them. You typically are going to win this fight with enough turns left that Yuno can afford to do a heal. Just 1 usually. But this, in my opinion, is the best comp to duo this boss with. If you have these 2 units, this raid is going to just be very, very easy for you. Let's watch this one play out, and let's see how many turns we have left. So there's another Holy from Yuna, there's a Spirit Breaker from Sakura, and it's just going to go like this for a bit. Light Blade, cheap move, Holy, lot of damage, and we're just fine. Like, we're very healthy. The units still like to summon, you know, they like to pull out the Espers and hit the Esper with an Esper because they feel good about it. But look, Yuna out of AP. Like, I don't know if you see Yuna run out of AP very much, but with 2 turns left to spare, we've killed the fight. Awesome. Awesome. So, those are the 3 comps that I have specifically been using to do this raid. I hope that this cleared up for anybody questions about how to advance your own raid and all of that. Now, if you don't have a duo that can do it, just go to the 4-man. You don't lose a ton for doing the 4-man solo clear. It's not as good as the duo. It's certainly not as good as the single, but if you're out here single fighting this boss, for one, you're manualing it, which is something that, like, man, there's a lot of raid to do in manual. So props to you if you're trying that. I salute you. But don't feel bad if you have to go to 4 people to beat this raid. Being able to solo farm with 4 people is still going to be more efficient than looking for members to join your raid, especially this one where so many people can just do it themselves. Now, in the future, you might be able to find groups easier because we won't just have come off like the biggest power spike in global account history and hit a raid that's weak to everything that we just power spike with. So yeah, that's the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it cleared some things up. And thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Later.